Hello and welcome to Wisdom Bites. Hope you're well. Thank you once again for joining us. Very much appreciated. And in today's packed program, I'm going to be looking at the second part of the Wisdom Bite that we started in the last video called The Power of Influence. I'll also be looking at a fractal pattern which nobody seems to have looked at, which seems to determine exactly the direction of travel where we could be going based on what's happened in 2018. I'll also be having a look at the micro analysis on the weekly and the daily charts to see exactly how we've come to where we are and where we are about to go in the next few weeks and months. And if that sounds interesting, then without further ado, put everything down, eyes on the screen, and let's get cracking. But before I begin, the usual polite reminder, please remember everything in this video and all my videos is for educational purposes, and nothing should be taken as an advice or financial advice to buy or sell any of the cryptos. All I'm doing is I'm giving you my perspective. You must do your due diligence before you make any important investment decisions. So with that out of the way, I'm going to carry on with the second and final part of the Power of Influence, the Wisdom Bite that I started in the last video. And if you find this content very valuable, then please do let me know in the comment section below. So in the last video, I covered this very important topic called the Power of Influence. And if you haven't watched it, you really need to go and watch it, and I'll leave a link at the end of this video for you. In that talk, I said that we need to ask ourselves three very important questions. The first one being, who am I around? And the second being, what are they doing to me? And thirdly, is what others are doing to me okay in terms of their influence on us? At the end, I said that I'll give you some actions you may want to take to deal with the power of influence. So I'll quickly run them down. The first one being disassociation, which of course means completely disassociating yourself from those people. After asking these three questions, you may come to the serious conclusion that there are just some people you have to just break away from. Now, this step is not an easy step to take or to be taken lightly. However, if you really want to get where you really want to be, it may be an essential task, whether we like it or not. In life, we sometimes have to make very harsh and very painful decisions. You may have to take that hard choice not to let certain negative influences affect you anymore. It could be a choice that saves the quality of your life in the future. The second action that you could take is obviously limited association. So it may be that you're spending too much time in a certain area of your life with a certain group of people. You see, it's easy to put too much time and effort in the wrong place. You see, if you're spending, let's say, 10 hours a week on watching movies, and 10 hours a week on other forms of entertainment, then the reality is that it doesn't weigh up very well 5 years from now or 10 years from now. Please take note that one of the easiest ways to end up with a mediocre average life is to spend major time on minor things. Please take a note of that. It's a very important concept. Do not spend major time on minor things. However, sophisticated people learn to weigh everything before they spend the time or money. It's a great idea to weigh before you pay, because the consequences are you're going to spend heavyweight time with lightweight people. Now, it's okay to have casual friends as long as you give them casual time, not serious time. So the idea is to spend major time with major influence and minor time with minor influence. It's so easy to do the opposite. So you mustn't fall into that trap. It's all about priorities. It will pay you handsomely to invest your time, effort, and energy wisely. At the end of the day, it's your call between disassociation and limited association. But remember, if it isn't taking you where you want to be in 5 or 10 years from now, now is the time to fix it. The final choice that you have is the third choice, and that is, which I would call the best option, which is actually called expanded association. And that is actually spending more time with the right people, i.e., find yourself people of substance and culture, people who understand philosophy and discipline, and people of an accomplishment and character. The harsh truth is that if you want to be successful, then you just have to be around the right people. At the end of the day, it's your life and you can spend it with whoever you want and whenever you want, but you don't watch this Wisdom Bites channel for someone to kid you. The harsh reality is that we have so little time. Wouldn't it make sense to invest it wisely? Let me give you an example. If you have £100, then I think it's okay to spend £20 for fun and put £80 towards commitments which will give you a positive outcome. Or would you be happy doing the reverse of that? Because that is what people with a poor person's mindset do. And on a final note, never forget that we are where we are because of the decisions and choices and options that we have taken. And we do not have anyone to blame except ourselves if they turn out to be wrong. If you found value in that wisdom bite, then please let me know in the comments below. Okay, so on to the technical analysis. I'm going to show you a fractal pattern which seems to be uncannily following the 2018 pattern over here. On this chart, you can see a white line, which is the 50 simple moving average, and the green line is the 200 simple moving average. If you notice that this all-time previous high in December 2017 topped out at around 20,000 here. And we topped out in November last year at around 69,000 over here. Now, if you notice with the pattern that we fell below the 50 moving average to the 200 simple moving average here. This is precisely what we did when we found support here on the 200 simple moving average at this point there. From there, you can see that we tried to get back above the 50 simple moving average here. In the current cycle, we went back up towards the 50 simple moving average as well here. Then you see this cross that occurred between the 50 and the 200. And we fell all the way down below that. Very similar to what happened here. We fell below it down here. And we made one attempt to get back to the 200 over here. And guess what happened here? We didn't quite get there on this time on the first couple of attempts, but just like here, we came back down and tried another time and got rejected right on the green line as per 2017-18. Then once again, we found consolidation around the 50 simple moving average, very similar to what's happened here. And when we couldn't get above that, we found a rejection and found consolidation over here. And guess what's happened here? Got rejected by the 50, found consolidation under the 50 over here. Are you finding this interesting? I hope you are. What happened next was what we call the bottoming out pattern. And that was that we came down here at 3,100 and made our way back towards the 50 simple moving average to create our W pattern, the first part of the W pattern here. And guess what we did here? Once we broke this consolidation, we've come all the way down. And as I said in the last video, I'm 75% probability that we have now bottomed out here because it's following this fractal pattern. And if that is anything to go by, then this is what should happen. Obviously, this is not financial advice. Everybody has to do their due diligence. I can only read what I see in the charts. So once we got the bottom here and over here, then what's happened is, like I said, we came back up for the first part of the W, and this is exactly what we've done here around the 50 simple moving average. And that was our point at 25,000. Since then, we've come back down to create our second bottom. And guess what we've just done here? We've just created our second bottom. So if this pattern was to carry on following the 2018 bear market, well, we may well have. And of course, this is not financial advice. I'm only seeing what on the charts could be a possibility and a probability. Then we could be in for a big ride up here. It may not be as steep as this. It may well be we go just above the green line and then come back over here. Only time will tell, but certainly we have some direction, some guide as to what could potentially happen over here based on what happened over here. If you found value in what I've just shown you, then please do remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Okay, moving on to do the micro analysis for Bitcoin And I'm going to do this on the daily chart because this is very, very important. Please take a note of this. The blue line that you can see weaving through the price action here is the 8 daily exponential moving average. And what I want you to note here is that how much this price action respects this moving average. So I've been showing you this moving average since we broke down in November last year. And I kept saying to everybody that this is a line where we tend to find a lot of resistance. As you can see, all along, we've had very strong rejection on this line here. Once we break out, obviously we go on a bit of a rally, but when we do come back, we tend to find very strong rejection on this line here, on multiple times. And I'm going to show you with a bit more micro analysis around here that this has continued in the last few months. So when we topped out recently at 25,200 over here, look what happened. As soon as we fell below this 8 exponential moving average, we found rejection here when we tried to get back above, second time here, third time here. Then when we broke down, guess what happened? We came all the way to retest that over here, actually 3 times. Then when we broke down here, guess what happened? We tried multiple times to get back above this moving average. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rejections all along this line before finally, overnight, we've now finally broken that. So please make a note of this very important exponential moving average, the 8 daily exponential moving average. So for the past 8 or 9 months now, we've had this very strong, dominant downtrend, which is now culminating in some sort of a double bottom pattern. Of course, there's always that 25% potential that it could fall down to much lower levels. But as I said in the last video, my probabilities are that 75% we bottomed out here and we're now creating a second bottom here. And only time will tell whether that plays out. And we have to put this into the context of things because, as we can see, on the 200 weekly simple moving average here, in the past we've always found support, but this time the support has been much weaker. So we have to realize that we are still below the 200 simple moving average. And whilst that is happening, the dominant trend is still dominantly to the downside until we find signs that we've gone above this 200 simple moving average to give us some sort of a potential to move back to the upside. So that is the backdrop of this. The 2 levels that I want you to keep a note of here, very, very important. Please take a mental note, if not proper notes here. And that is, this wick here is telling us that the price, when it came all the way down here, got very strongly bought up, which means there's a lot of demand at this point. And therefore, this can easily turn into a very strong resistance on the way back up. So you have to keep a very strong mental note of this. So if we draw this line here, as you can see, when we came up in this relief rally over here, we found strong resistance at this point. And this was a very obvious point to short the market. So the current breakout that we're having over here, it seems a natural place for it to come up at this point and get a rejection back to this level here, where we are currently at 20,800-ish. Because you may not have noticed this, but there was some sort of a head and shoulders pattern here developing, which obviously broke to the downside here. The second level, should we get past this $25,000 mark, is going to be this level here at 32,000. Very obviously, this is where there's been resistance in the past. So if we extend that, should we get above this level here, we can expect the market to very quickly, as you can see, there wasn't much resistance at that point there, apart from this level here, which is at 28,000. So we should have a clear run all the way up to 32,000 here. So what we've done when we topped out at the $69,000 mark, we've created a series of bear flags, which are obviously dominantly breaking to the downside on a degree of probability. So this broke down here, we came down, created another bear flag, that broke down, and we had another bear flag here, and that broke down. And then we've had smaller bear flags here, which have also broken to the downside. If we just have a little micro analysis of this part of the Bitcoin chart, before we get to the $25,000 mark from where we are here, there is this level here you may have noticed, because if you look left here, you can see quite clearly this is a level which has found a lot of support and resistance. So before we get to the 25, it may well be that we get a little bit of a correction here at this level, maybe down to these points here, as you can see from these support and resistance points. So we've got really these two lines. So currently we're finding difficulty getting above the 20,800, and you can see why, because if we look left here, all the way back here, there is a strong support and resistance point. So this is this candlestick pattern called the morning star, which I used to go through with you before my break. So this morning star pattern led to this relief rally over here. And currently we're forming another similar pattern over here. We've got a tweezer bottoms and some semblance of another morning star pattern here. So I would expect, after a little period of consolidation at this level at 20,800, around here, we should make another move to the 22,400 level over here before we test these levels at 25. So take a mental note of that. The next level from where we are, 20,800, is this level here, 22,400. And then 25. In my next video, I'm going to give you a breakdown of the candlestick patterns, which gave you a very strong clue that when we came up to this pattern here with all these candlesticks, it was giving us a very strong clue that we are about to top out. And I want to really go through that so that I can add value to you. So when you see this pattern next time, you'll know that with a high degree of probability, what to do next in terms of the direction of travel for Bitcoin. Okay, I'll leave it there. Okay, so if you found value in this video and you want to support the Wisdom Bites channel, or you want to request a technical analysis of your favorite crypto, or even just want a shout out in the following video, then please click on this $ here where you can choose your support level and leave your comment in the box here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more technical analysis of Bitcoin. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.